Well, Athena, my area of expertise is biomedical engineering, and I worked my way up from the bottom, and for the last 6 years I've been in management. So what I've noticed is after I got into management and, I guess you could say the people I worked with, my peers and my bosses, they seemed to think I had a knack for it and that I was very good at improving the processes and the KPIs and things of that nature on teams as well as customer service. And so after being a manager for many years, then I made it to director. But what I noticed is I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy inside, even though I was good at what I was doing. I was not happy and did not enjoy the experience really. Well, I didn't know what was wrong or what I was going to do to correct it. But one thing I had decided was that I was going to resign from my position and I was going to work on myself. Well, during the first 2 weeks, I realized that there was a lot of um, destructive thought processes that I had ended up with based on how I was raised and the environments I was in that needed to be corrected. And through the boot camp, I learned that there are ways to correct these thought processes that are unhealthy and actually replace them with healthy thought processes. But they first needed to be pointed out to me, which is the value that the boot camp really offers. It points out things that do need to be corrected in order to have a more positive life. Well, before I had sort of isolated myself a little from my family, and the reason I did that is because of things that they had done that I really had not forgiven them for. So a big part of mending those relationships was, stepping into a full walk of forgiveness with everybody in my life and moving forward with positive thoughts in all arenas and not being judgmental. And that has yielded some very good results in the personal relationships of my family. Basically, I had pretty much cut most people out of my life. I had actually some very negative thoughts about how women were. And I mean, through your program, I also realized that not everybody is like that. And I hadn't met everybody, so, you have to realize that you're only familiar with what you know and the experiences you had, but you have to think way beyond that and realize that there's a whole world out there, and you can't judge a whole world based on a couple experiences that were not very good. What really made the click was, first off, knowing I needed to work on some things in my life, um, and actually finding out there were tools and or processes or exercises to put into place that could help you to overcome these or change these types of things you needed to change and become more positive in. No one had ever held me accountable before the boot camp because I was always ahead of everybody else. And that's basically, when I say that, that's in the work arena. I'm always ahead of everybody in that area, so everybody's usually following me in that area. But in the real life area, the one that's more important, I was basically not doing so well. Yeah, being held accountable is, by you in the boot camp is basically what gets you, I guess you could say, over the hill to realize that without accountability and someone holding you accountable, you may not actually have very much progress. So I think we all need an accountability partner, so to speak, in the program. Well, I'm going to have to say that quitting my job, where I made over six figures, was the best thing I've done in my whole life right now, because it allowed me to work on myself and invest in myself, and that's the best investment of all. The Breakthrough Boot Camp has shown me things I wasn't even aware of. So I think we all have things that we need to work on that we're not even aware of. Those can be identified in the Breakthrough Boot Camp, and tools can be put in place to help you overcome these and change these things that seem to have a negative impact on your life in general, both at work and personal. Yes, I have. So I think by working on myself, going through the boot camp, and becoming overall a more positive person, that's the energy that I'm sending out now. And as a result of that, I have much different responses from people in all areas. My boss gives me nothing but praise. My coworkers, they say really good things about me to my boss, and I hear this back from coworkers that my boss says very good things about me to them. So there's been a overall benefit to the program for me, and what I want to say I would call the social part of life. Whereas before the boot camp, I was actually cutting people off from my life, and I'd lost a zeal for wanting to be around people and talk to people and meet people. Now I can't wait to meet people, and I talk to everybody I meet again, which is how I used to be in the past. So I think that what I've done is I've been able to put all the tools to work, and as I put them to work, I've been able to let loose of some very destructive thinking processes that were holding me back and actually were creating a lot of negativity in my life.